So today we will be talking about transformers. So transformer is static device, electrical device, which converts low alternating voltage at high current to high alternating voltage at low current and vice versa. It's based on the principle of mutual induction, which we have done in the previous lecture. That is, whenever the magnetic flux linked with the coil changes, an EMF is induced in the neighboring coil. So as you can see here, a transformer is made up of an iron core. So this is basically the iron core of the magnet. It's made of a core of iron. And we have two sets of coils in this. So we will have one set of coil here. This is called as a primary coil, which is connected to the source. And we have another set of coil here, which is connected to the load. So we have connected it to the source and we have connected the other end to the load. So the left side is called as a primary coil and the right side is called as a secondary coil. They're wound separately on a laminated soft iron. So this is the laminated soft iron. Now the AC voltage, this is your AC voltage. So I'm going to call it as V1. It is AC voltage is applied to the primary coil. And the load, we can call it as RL, is kept on the secondary coil. So we normally say that these two coils, the language that we use to explain is that they are electrically insulated from each other, but they are magnetically linked. So when the current starts flowing in the primary coil, if this is the current flowing in the primary coil, there will be EMF induced in the primary coil. So let's call it as E1. So there'll be alternating current flowing in this through these coils. Hence, that gives rise to what is called as a magnetic flux. So this magnetic flux, which is linked over here, will get linked with the secondary coil. So there'll be large amount of magnetic flux, which will keep on changing. It will be a changing magnetic flux because it's alternating current. So you'll have this link to the secondary coil. Hence, this terminology we use here is called flux linkage. So we say flux linkage has taken place. So now we can have a symbol for the transformer as well, and the symbol used for the transformer will look something in this direction. So this is the symbol used for the transformer. So we use the symbol for the transformer. So I've used one side as the primary and the other side as the secondary. And because this core is made up of iron, we put two lines. So that two lines basically depicts the core of the transformer. So this is the primary of the transformer. I will call it as P1 and P2. And this is the secondary of the transformer. I'll call it as S1 and S2. So when an alternating voltage is applied to the primary coil, the current through the coil will keep on changing. And hence the magnetic flux through the core will also change. So as the flux in the secondary keeps on changing, there will be an EMF which is induced in the secondary. So I'll call it as E2, which will give rise to current here, that is I2. And this I2 will develop, that is I into R, will give us a voltage output. Let me call it as V2. Also, the number of turns of the primary will be called as N1, and the number of turns of the secondary will be called as N2. So the amount of magnetic flux linked with the coil depends on the number of turns of the coil as well. So let us get into the initial derivation of this. So let's say let phi, so you can use the symbol phi there, so I'm using it as phi. Let phi be the magnetic flux linked per turn with both the coils at a certain instant t. At a certain instant t. Let us say that let N1 be the magnetic, be the number of turns of the primary. And let's say N2 is the number of turns of the secondary. So how can we define E1? That is, E1 is the EMF that is produced in the primary. So I can say that E1 can be written as minus N1 d phi by dt. So according to Faraday's law, we can say the EMF E1 depends on N1 and the rate of change of flux that's taking place in the primary coil at a certain instant of time. Similarly, the EMF in the secondary of the coil is E2 is minus N2 d phi by dt. So you will see that in both the equations, the flux is same because we're getting the same flux from the primary to the secondary. So that's an ideal condition, that whatever flux was linked to the primary will be the same flux linked to the secondary. So I'm calling this as equation number 1 and I'm calling this as equation number 2. And therefore, if I divide E2 upon E1, I will get N2 upon N1. So this is a condition we are getting. This represents the equation. This is called as the equation of the transformer. So this ratio, this N2 upon N1 is called as the turns ratio. So this ratio that we talk about here is called as the turns ratio. It's called as the turns ratio. Or it is also called as a transformer ratio of the transformer. So based on this turns ratio, we have two conditions that we have to remember. That if N2 is greater than N1, that is number of turns of the secondary is greater than the number of turns of the primary, then we can say that E2 is greater than E1 because of this above equation. This kind of transformers are called as step-up transformers. So they are called as step-up if the number of turns of the secondary is greater than the number of turns of the primary. And if, on the other hand, if N2 is less than N1, so number of everything depends on the number of turns that you're doing on the secondary side, then we can say that E2 is less than E1. And therefore, we can call this as step down transformer. So for an ideal transformer, if I take for an ideal transformer, so we write the transformer in this manner. So for an ideal transformer, we can say that efficiency, so efficiency is given by eta, is output power upon input power. So it is output power upon input power. So I will normally write it as P2 upon P1. So on the output side of the transformer, what is our P2? P2 can be written as E2I2 upon E1I1. And when we say that it is an ideal transformer, what we mean by saying that is that this is 100% efficient. So if eta is 100%, that means 100 divided by 100 will become 1. And that brings us to E2I2 upon E1I1. And that means E2I2 becomes equal to E1I1. Therefore, we can say that E2 upon E1 is equal to I1 upon I2, which is equal to N2 upon N1. So this is a very important condition of the three that we must remember. So we can conclude the following relation from that of the transformer. And it is whenever we are considering exams and all, unless and until they give us that it is not an ideal transformer, we will obviously assume it to be ideal. And this, remember, we can only use if it is an ideal transformer. We can only use this if this is an ideal transformer, else we will not be using this. So we have to be careful in what we do. So this is important for us to understand. So like a note, you can mention a note that the secondary of the transformer has two formulas. E2 is minus N2 d phi by dt is one formula. And another formula we have studied during mutual induction is minus M di1 upon dt. So these two are the very important formulas for secondary of any transformer. One is in terms of mutual induction and the other is in terms of number of turns. Here you will see flux, here you will see current. So it's important for you to know that. Now we'll just discuss, we've already done what is step up and step down. So we'll try to put all the formulas together. So what is exactly a step up transformer? So a step up transformer, will be nothing but which converts a low voltage at high current into a high voltage at low current. So this is called step up. So in step up, basically, we just did the relation. We know that for an ideal transformer, E2 upon E1 is equal to N2 upon N1 is equal to I1 upon I2. So what I mean to say is if E2 is greater than E1, then N2 is greater than N1, but I2 will be less than I1. So the primary coil basically is made up of thick insulated copper wire so that it can sustain very high current. And the secondary coil is made up of a thin insulated wire. So in this case, you can see that I2 is greater than I1, but because the primary coil is made up of very thick insulated copper wire. In the case of step-up transformer, it can sustain a very high amount of current. So that's what you need to know regarding the step-up transformer. Regarding the step-down transformer, so if I'm talking in terms of the step-down transformer, we have to think in a reverse manner. It is which converts. So it is something that converts a high voltage at low current. That's because of the inverse part that we always say high voltage at low current into a low voltage at high current. So here we would like to say that in this case our E2 is less than E1 because our N2 is less than N1. That means our I2 is greater than I1. So the primary coil is made up of thin insulated wire, and the secondary coil here is made up of thick wire so that it can sustain very high amount of current. That is what we need to understand with regard to step down transformers. So in our houses, in the transformers that are there in our adapters, we are using step down transformer because we want to bring down the voltage. So we take the voltage lesser than what we are getting at the plug points. So say for your example, your mobile is working at 4.25 volts, then it is basically connected from a source which is at 230 volt AC source from the pin plugs, right? And from there you are giving your mobile 4.25. So that means basically it is bringing that 230 volt down to 4.25 with the help of a small transformer which is sitting inside the adapter. So if you have an old charger, you can break it and see a very small transformer which will be placed inside it to do this conversion. So you must understand a transformer is only bringing the high voltage to the low voltage. It is not doing anything with respect to frequency. So a transformer does not change frequency. Suppose if the transformer is something like this and it is a step down transformer, then it is only bringing the amplitude less. So it will not do anything to the frequency. So remember, this is a very important point that the transformer does not change the frequency. So say if it was, for example, 230 volt, 50 hertz, then it will bring it down to 5 volt, but the 50 hertz will remain the same. So it does not bring any change in the frequency. So this is something that you must always remember. Okay. We have to study about the lamination of the transformer, why it is laminated, because that word is coming. But that will be taught to you once I teach you what is eddy's current. So let us look at some of the applications of the transformer. So the points that I need you to remember in the applications of the transformer would be that they are used in voltage regulators and stabilized they are used in voltage regulators and in stabilized power supplies. That would be one. Next, it is used in the transmission. It is used in the transmission of electrical energy over long distances. You have smaller transformers that we are using in, so you can mention it like small transformers have, they are used in a lot of applications like loudspeakers, radio sets, telephone and television, your laptops, etc., etc. So this is something which is very important, and the question could come later: what are the applications, or what is the principle that is mutual induction, or distinguish between step-up transformer and step-down transformer. So we can discuss what could be the differences between step-up and step-down transformer. So if I'm talking about step-up transformer, what are the points that I can think about in a step-up transformer? So let us see what are the points I can think about in a step-up transformer. So say the first point I can say is that the number of turns, so I'm putting it numerically, but you can write it. The number of turns in the secondary will be greater than the number of turns in the primary. That will be one of the points that I will remember here. Secondary, I can say that if that is the case, the alternating voltage across the end of its secondary. So I can say that E2 is greater than that across the primary. So whatever is your voltage will be greater. That will be one of the functions of the step-up transformer. And as I had told you that N2 divided by N1 is called as nothing but the transformer ratio. So I can call it as K, and this K will therefore be greater than 1, right? So these are third point. Fourth point I have already discussed. I told you that in a step-up transformer, the primary coil will be made up of thick insulated wire. So you can say that the primary coil is made up of thick wire. So the primary coil is made up of thick wire, and the secondary coil is made up of thin wire. So this is one of the things that you must remember. And you should also know that the current through the secondary will always be less than the current through the primary because of the condition of step-up transformer. So this is some of the important points that you must remember with respect to step-up transformer. Similarly, let us look at step-down transformer. So if we are looking at step-down transformer, what could be the important points? So one of the points would be that N2 will be less than N1, isn't it? So the number of turns in the primary is greater, in other words, for a step down transformer. Then we can say that E2 will be less than E1. That is one of the things that we have to remember. And just like we have defined the transformer ratio, that is K, K will here be less than 1. And what else did we say here? We said that the primary coil is made up of thick wire because it can take large amount of current. So in the fourth point over here, we will say that the secondary coil is made up of thick wire. So this is one of the things. Then 5, we can say that the primary coil is made up of, or is made up of thin wire, right? So that is one of the things. And obviously point number 6, we can point out that I2 is greater than I1. So the current through the primary is going to be less as compared to that of the secondary. So because it's exactly the reverse of each other. So these are some of the points that were discussed in lecture number 5 of the Zoom lecture, which I have put to you before you. Okay. Thank you. Stay safe and study well.